anniversary. If the first one was in 98.
It's the 20th conference.
Okay, so there was somewhere along the way that, okay, you get to.
If you count, you'll see it's
Okay.
the 20th.
That's a good accounting. I'm the business guy, so. Anyway, thanks a lot, Bob, for inviting me. Nice to have, nice to be here. And you know, as I always say when I come to speak at Mars Society, you know, I feel like my talk as a young, whatever it was, 23-year-old who didn't know anything, Bob was very kind to let me speak at that conference, which was super exciting. And I think the ultimate aspirations of all of us to create a better planet and a better solar system for humanity is still something that is worth fighting for. And so it's nice to be among friends who consider that. So what I want to do today is just give you a quick update on Galactic and then and Orbit, and we can sort of go from there. If anybody has any questions from there, I'd be happy to answer them. So we'll just start off and shoot right into it. Yeah, so here's planet Earth. You know, I did want to start with this. My boss's island just got destroyed yesterday. And, you know, I think that we in the space community have to be responsive to what's going on out there. And you know, it's an interesting moment in time when we have two 500-year events happening within a 2-week period. And I think it makes all of us reflect about how can space technology help us on planet Earth, and how that fits into our long-term future. I've never been one to think that those things are incompatible, but I think that if we're not sort of responding to that in a substantive way, then the appeal of what we're doing will not be sort of as deep as it could be. So I think tying things to Earth is important. Here's a little video. If we can hear it, maybe it could be turned up a little bit. Otherwise, I'll talk over it. There we go. The video is moving, which is like probably about 100% better than normal. This is, you know, getting sound is the minor detail. Oh, fantastic. We don't have to play it, but it's just
We'd rather look at you anyway.
Taking more and more passengers out into space will enable them and us to look both outwards and back, but with a fresh perspective in both directions.
Together, we can make space accessible in a way that has only been dreamt of before now. And by doing that, we can truly bring positive change to life on Earth.
I hope by the time my kids are ready to go into space, we've changed our global culture to recognize that space is where we belong, and the Earth is something that we need to really look at.
We need more and more people to realize how fragile our planet is. How there's not much around us. This is it.
Virgin Galactic is developing Launcher One, designed to become the lowest cost per flight private satellite launch vehicle.
After all, small satellites can't change the world if they are stuck here on the ground. The fact that more people have signed up to experience space with Virgin Galactic than have ever been to space before is thrilling. And the knowledge that we must pay their support by making space travel affordable and safe is humbling. But it also inspires us as future faces. So, cool.
Bravo.
Hardware and some renderings. So,
let's see. Yeah, so we have, this year, what do? We spun out our orbital satellite launch division. So we now have about 350 people working in Long Beach on a small satellite launcher, which is fantastic. It's in a really cool spot. It's on the north side of the Long Beach airport, and it's going to be deployed from a 747. So if you go by the Long Beach airport, you can actually now see a red and white version 747, and so that has now been fitted out to have an attachment under the wing, and so that'll be launching 300 kilogram missions to LEO starting next year. That's really exciting. It's exciting, and one of the things that we're very excited about, not the focus of the talk this morning, but is can you do planetary science with small satellites? And that's something I'm really excited about, sort of the principle of like the Star Wars little thing that comes down to Hoth. You know, can you do that with nanosats or microsats and distribute these small satellites around the solar system? I think that's a really exciting thing. And if you compare that with a small satellite launcher, a dedicated small satellite launcher, you could actually be doing planetary exploration for maybe 20 million rather than 200 million or 2 billion. And just think of how much more science we can do on some of those things. Really exciting stuff, maybe to Mars. You know, so Galactic is still trucking away, and we are getting close to powered flight, which is exciting with our new vehicle, Spaceship Unity. I'll show you a little bit about that. So that's Unity. You can tell it's the new one with the shiny stuff in the background. I think everybody knows basically what we're trying to do, which is suborbital space flight. Yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about pilots or anything. I just want to talk about the spaceflight program, or the test flight program mostly. Although I did want to talk about suborbital missions. We're pushing hard on this now, and we've got a whole bunch of researchers who are going to be doing suborbital science on board the vehicles, which will be absolutely fantastic. I don't know if we have anybody from Irvine yet, but we should definitely get some folks from Irvine flying on the vehicle. Yeah, so I just want to talk about the test flight program, because that's something that people are interested in. So we're now right at the edge of powered flight. So we have probably a very small number of glide flights left before we start powered flight, which will be a great milestone. So I just wanted to sort of review what's happened over the last year or so. So we started out glide flights with Spaceship Unity a little over a year ago. We started out with captive carry flights just to make sure that the ship was working properly. That was fine. And then we moved into glide flights. So we're doing all of our glide flights in Mojave, California, about 2 to 3 hours north of here, in a different environment. But a nice one. And then we moved into feather testing. So this is actuating the feather, as everybody knows probably, or many people know. Basically what we do with our vehicle is we bend the booms of the wing up at about a 60-degree angle for re-entry. And that's meant to enable us to sort of slow down higher up in the atmosphere, reduces heating loads, and ensures a more stable aerodynamic configuration for re-entry. And so we went through those tests. That seems to be fine. Meanwhile, we're doing a bunch of engine testing. That's now done, so we're ready to go into powered flight. Here's a video of a test that we did in May, just for fun. So the rocket motor is it's about a 60,000-pound thrust motor. It is I think the most advanced hybrid rocket motor that's ever been built. Hybrid rocket motors are hard, but our engineering team has done a great job at working on that. So this particular stand is sort of the final. Stopped, but anyway, basically it's the final phase of qualification, which is now essentially done. So this allows us, you can see it sort of like looks like the spaceship in the back. So basically that's an accurate model of the spaceship, and allows us to basically test out all the plumbing and all the systems in the vertical configuration, which is of course what the spaceship will be doing as we go as we go up. And so very soon we'll be mounting that motor onto the spaceship and beginning our flight test, which is going to be pretty exciting. So anyway, that's good. So we're also building 2 more spaceships now, and actually we bonded the cabin of one of them. Whoops, I don't want to show that yet. Bonded the cabin of one of them. So basically, we have also built up an entire manufacturing organization in Mojave called the Spaceship Company, which is a fantastic organization. I'm the CEO of that as well, and that's about 400 people, and it can basically do anything related to the spaceship manufacturing and test program. So design spaceships, manufacture them, test them, and operate them. We have our own dedicated facilities for mission control, for all the different aspects of the process in constructing spaceships. And so this is just a picture of a month or 2 ago. You can see the cabin halves for the next spaceships there. And I want to show you a little video about TSC because many people don't really know about that company very much. TSC. So there's a picture of the cabin halves that we mated yesterday, and so hopefully, relatively soon, give it a year or 2, we'll have 2 new spaceships coming out as well, which will be exciting. So, the aspiration is to have a fleet of vehicles operating from New Mexico, our home base there in Spaceport America, as well as other places potentially down the road. But it's exciting to start having that. And we think that that's important because from a business perspective, we need to have essentially the capacity to build up, more people going into space, and that's what it's all about. So I think that's sort of it. I wanted to keep it quick, so in case we had any questions or anything like that. But let me just close by saying, we're at a really interesting moment from the perspective of space development right now. As Bob and others have sort of intelligently commented on, we've moved from science fiction to, science fact. When I was in government, we put a lot of effort on the importance of competition. And I think that is super important for the future of space. If we have these monolithic programs, you don't see the competition, you don't see the innovation that you can get if you do have people competing against each other and trying to make better products, make lower cost products. And that's important. That's really important because we've seen more innovation in the last 5 or 10 years in space than we've seen in probably 30 years. And that is awesome because that's the only way that we're going to achieve our dreams is by unleashing the power of the human spirit. And that's terrific. So I'm super excited about that. And I think we got to keep that going, So it's hard, right? We've seen various companies fade away, whatever. But what's exciting is that there are several companies that are building, major revolutions in space access, several companies building major revolutions in space services. And
what a great time. That's fantastic. And we gotta encourage that. We gotta sort of enjoy that and support that. Because, you know, at the end of the day, slow plodding progress is super boring, and you know, we're only on this planet for about, I don't know about you, probably 100 years. And so, you know, that's a remarkably short period of time. You know, as I reach my second half of life, I start to think about, man, we got to get going. And so, you know, I know we feel that at Galactic, but you know, you got to do it right, but you have to keep moving quickly. And because the solar system is big, and Earth has a lot of challenges, and space can respond to those challenges, can, I think, be integral to the long-term future of the planet and humanity. So that means, you know, this vision of creating sort of an Eden-like, you know, home planet. I mean, I think that's a really inspiring vision, you know, and then taking advantage of the resources of the solar system. Those are all really inspiring visions that I think we can get kids excited by, get us all excited by, and keep moving forward, because we need that positive energy. We need to be bringing more people into the importance of space for our shared future, and so I think it's a really exciting moment. Yeah, and if we can, you know, just keep going, keep everybody excited, and keep moving forward. So anyway, I have time.